What if my father doesn't show up to my wedding? Am I wrong to break off contact with him? My father is a slightly known musician in my home country. Due to his career, he missed out on most of my milestones while I was growing up. School plays, a few birthdays, and both my high school and college graduations, to name a few. On most occasions, he was informed of these events months in advance, and he either cancelled on me weeks or days prior. He always said he's sorry, but didn't appear to actually feel bad about it. I remember we almost had a fight because I didn't want to watch with him the video of my high school graduation that he missed. It hurt me so much as a child that I stopped expecting him to show up. It still bothered me when I got older. But at that point, I understood that it was his job, and I should be grateful he even had one. I'm getting married in early September. My fiancé and I have been planning this wedding for a year and a half. The date was set, and invitations were sent months ago. Almost every guest has already RSVP'd. I've reminded my father of the date several times this past year, and he kept assuring me he had blocked the entire week of the wedding. He promised he would be there. A couple days ago, my father called to inform me he'd had to schedule a concert on my wedding day. He apologized and said he'd make it up to me with a gift. I don't want a gift. I want my father to come to my wedding. So, I told him that either he figured out a way to reschedule, which I know he could do if he tried, or I'd cut ties with him. What followed was one of the biggest fights we've ever had. He called me ungrateful, spoiled, and selfish for giving him that kind of ultimatum, expecting him to change his work schedule for my own benefit. He yelled, but I held myself back from yelling back. Most of my family is on my side, though both my mom, who's now divorced from my dad, and my fiancé have warned me not to make any moves I might regret. My sister took my father's side, which doesn't really surprise me. I love my father, and I really don't want to stop talking to him, but I'm done with him expecting to be able to miss out on my life with no consequences. That being said, I'd be lying if I said that I don't feel guilty. Looking back, my father wasn't exactly neglectful in the traditional sense. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old. My mom had primary custody of me and my sister, but we still went to his place several times a week. My mother is a teacher and couldn't raise us on her salary alone. So, it's safe to say that my dad was our main financial supporter even after the divorce. Because of all of this, he seems to believe he is the best father ever. Whenever we fought, he always insisted I was wrong and ungrateful. Those same arguments were used whenever I demonstrated that I was upset over him missing out on my milestones. He was the one paying for my education, so in his mind, I couldn't get upset if he skipped my high school graduation or ignored any of the projects I worked on in college. I decided to stop complaining about this when I was younger, realizing I wouldn't be able to get him to see my side. This wedding incident felt like a turning point, though, especially since he wasn't paying for anything this time. It forced me to accept that he no longer cares how I feel. I now realize there's no winning this. If he doesn't come, I'll be devastated. If he does, I'll always remember having to force my own father to attend my wedding. At this point, I'm not even sure which is worse. A few days ago, I had a discussion with my father over the phone in which I expressed all of my sentiments. And as expected, he called me dramatic, accused me of alienating myself, and berated me for talking to him the way I did. I hung up on him. This is how our fights have gone since I was a teenager, and it never solves anything. We haven't spoken since. I sent him a long text, basically saying I didn't want to hear from him until he was ready to both offer me a sincere apology and own up to the fact that the current state of our relationship is his fault. This is all wishful thinking. I sincerely doubt that either will occur. I love my father, and I know he loves me to bits. But I can't do this anymore. He's been around my entire life and still barely knows me for who I am. It's his turn to make that effort in our relationship. Right now, I'm trying to muster up excitement for my wedding. I lost most of it these past few weeks. My fiancé, my mom, and my friends are all trying to cheer me up, and it's starting to take effect. I'm definitely feeling a lot better than last week. I'm really grateful to have them in my life.